News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news comes from Ford, the automaker making a big investment across 3 states, including Michigan. Thank you for joining us for a special edition of Local 4 News at noon here on Local 4 Plus, your streaming app, and also streaming at clickondetroit.com. Now, Ford will invest $3.7 billion to expand production of both electrical and internal combustion vehicles. $2 billion is headed to Southeast Michigan. Grant Herms joins us live with a breakdown of how that money will be used. Grant?
Hey, Jason, this is one of the largest investments from an automaker in recent memory, and it's really hard to understate just how big of a deal this is for a lot of areas here in Metro Detroit that have struggled because of the auto industry for more than a decade, and particularly over the last 2 years of the pandemic. So here's the breakdown. As you said, $2 billion in that investment coming to Southeast Michigan. The UAW estimating today in a press conference that could mean about 3,200 union jobs. The bulk of that investment is going to increase production at the EV F-150 plant in Dearborn at the River Rouge plant, where they want to ramp up production to 150,000 trucks a year. The money is also going to the Maverick assembly plant in Wayne, the Flat Rock assembly plant for the new Mustang Coupe. In Wayne, they're making the new Maverick, and then some of that money also going to the customer service division in Monroe. In an announcement today, Ford executives and union members certainly excited about this new investment.
It's perfectly acceptable to be as loud and enthusiastic as you want. And why don't we get started with that right now? Let's go.
Like I said, hard to understate just how big of a deal this is. We'll have a lot more details coming up for you tonight at 5 and 6, including reaction from local union members, plus expert testimony and opinion here about what they think this means in the race for electric vehicles between automakers. Back to you.
Grant, thank you for that report. A judge has declined to put former Detroit Police Chief James Craig back on the ballot for Michigan governor. Craig is the 3rd candidate to lose a court challenge after the state election campaign petitions were marred by fraudulent signatures. The judge in this case says she must abide by a Michigan appeals court decision released today that kept 2 other Republicans off the August 2nd ballot as well. James Craig, reacting to this, released a statement this afternoon that reads in part, quote, "We will continue to fight for our campaign to be on the August primary ballot as a Republican candidate for governor. The voters should be deciding who their candidates are, not an unelected board of government bureaucrats. Rest assured, we will be appealing this questionable decision to a higher court. Our fight is not over." Time for a check of weather. Let's get over to Brandon at the wall.
And we are still seeing folks cleaning up after Wednesday afternoon's storms. Wind damage mainly through Washtenaw, Wayne, southern Macomb counties, but even down in Monroe County, we saw some cells exploding with 50 to almost 70 mile-an-hour winds, and thankfully temperatures have really cooled, and anybody without power doing much better with more comfortable air. But rain-cooled air, 50s to low 60s out there. And Storm Tracker 4 does show a couple of showers out there, but as we widen the view, there are fewer and few showers still to go. So they're wrapping up. We're starting to get into some clearing. We'll take a look at your Thursday afternoon, brighter, warmer forecast into a very big race weekend coming up.
A woman kidnapped by her estranged husband in St. Clair County is returned safely. Michigan State Police say Carol Duran has been recovered after being kidnapped and then barricaded in a hotel room. This was in Ohio. On Wednesday, police say her estranged husband, Gabriel Wagner, forced her into a car and took off. Police say their investigation led them to a hotel in Findlay, Ohio, where Duran was eventually taken. Police say Wagner has been arrested and could face charges. Likely face charges. We turn now to Tulsa, Oklahoma, the scene of yet another mass shooting in the U.S. Police say a gunman walked into a medical facility armed with a handgun and a rifle, killing at least 4 people. They say the gunman specifically chose the 2nd floor of the building where he opened fire. Investigators say that he turned the gun on himself as officers were closing in.
It appears as though the whole thing was a four-minute or so time span from the time it came in till the time officers made contact.
Investigators have not publicly identified the shooter, but say he is between 35 and 40 years old. Right now, police are working to determine a possible motive behind the shooting. Families are feeling the stress of rising costs of food and fuel, and parents are growing more desperate as the baby formula crisis drags on. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with the latest on that story.
The White House and the Federal Reserve are under pressure to get inflation under control. This as one of the nation's top banking executives warns we could be headed toward an economic hurricane. From the grocery store to buying a home, Americans are paying more. Gas and food prices are taking a big bite out of consumers' budgets.
It's definitely hurting.
This is insanity.
Republicans blame Democrats' policies for a 40-year high inflation.
So the next time you fill up your car or go to the grocery store, you can thank the Biden administration.
The Treasury Secretary admitting mistakes were made.
I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take.
J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon issuing a warning.
Everyone thinks the Fed can handle this. That hurricane is right out there down the road coming our way. We just don't know if it's a minor one or Superstorm Sandy or Sandy or Andrew or something like that. And it's you better brace yourself.
There's a lot going on right now.
President Biden says fighting rising costs is a top priority. He also made a striking acknowledgement regarding another challenge American families face, the baby formula shortage. The president says he didn't know the severity of the problem until it was too late.
I became aware of this problem sometime in early April about how intense it was.
The administration announcing new overseas shipments of formula are on the way. But the president warns financial relief from high food and gas prices is unlikely in the near term. This week, President Biden laid out his latest plan to tackle inflation. It includes fixing broken supply chain issues and improving infrastructure. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson. Back to you.
Overnight, gas prices continue to rise with no relief in sight. According to AAA, the average cost per gallon in Michigan is $4.80. That's up 10 cents compared to yesterday and 24 cents compared to last week. Here at home, drivers are paying 9 cents more per gallon than the national average. Since last month, the average price per gallon in Michigan has increased nearly 74 cents. All right, let's go to jolly old England, to London town, where they continue to celebrate Queen Elizabeth and her Platinum Jubilee. She is the first British monarch to celebrate 70 years on the throne in its history. Queen Elizabeth II and members of the royal family stepped out on the balcony at Buckingham Palace today to observe the military flyby, marking the end of the color ceremony, the start of Queen's Platinum Jubilee festivities. Hey, for more, let's go to Jay Gray.
Hey there, the parade is over. The party, though, continuing for the Platinum Jubilee here in London and across England. A lot of people spilling into parks like this one, St. James, not far from Buckingham Palace, where today there was an incredible display. Bands, we saw soldiers, we saw more than 240 people on horseback, and an incredible flyover, 70 planes from the Royal Air Force representing the 70 years that Queen Elizabeth II has been on the throne. This Platinum Jubilee is such a party, and it's going to continue to be for the next 4 days. 4 days of celebrations. Today and tomorrow are national holidays, so the crowds are only going to build going into the week. And so many, not only from here in England, but from around the world, traveling here to be a part of royal history. And many of them say the way it started today was exactly as they had hoped. The highlight, seeing the Queen walk out on the balcony and spend a little time thanking those who are here to thank her for her 7 decades of service. That is the latest from here in London. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
All right. Well, the Jubilee
Exciting.
Certainly put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Can you do an English accent?
Not on command. It kind of has to come after, as
A few pops.
And maybe a season of Outlander or something.
Okay.
Got to get there. Peaky Blinders, if you will.
Hey,
a little bit.
Bad. All right.
Well, here we go, and we've got something big of our own that we're forecasting for, and that is the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix. By Lear, and it's coming up starting tomorrow. Live in the D will be live out there tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. and we have special programs planned for your Friday and then the big weekend in the races. Right now we're looking at temperatures struggling around 60 degrees. Such a different feel in the air. We have these west-northwest winds on the lighter side, but driving in cooler air and trying to drive away the rain showers, which are primarily in southern Ontario as we speak. Still have some clouds looming, especially east side here around Metro Detroit. But you can see these showers are clearing out and sunshine will be moving in on this Thursday afternoon. 72 degrees, so we need another 13 degrees with a cooler air mass sliding in. This could be a tall order, but with more and more sunshine, we'll see temperatures taking off to room temperature. And then it's upper 40s to low 50s overnight. Very comfortable. Windows open if you're comfortable with that. And then as we look at Friday, 76 degrees, a dry day Friday. A little bit of a breeze. Winds out of the west, 7 to 17. But overall, still very comfortable stuff. Low middle 70s all weekend. And some afternoon clouds on Saturday keep us from hitting 76 3 days in a row. Here's the computer model racing not only the rain, but the clouds out of the area into the afternoon. As we hit the overnight, clear enough to see some 40s in some of our suburbs. And then that nice Friday sun-cloud balance looks good. Saturday starting out with lots of sun, and then into the afternoon we'll see a little more cloud cover building, but dry. Sunday rain chances will be north of M59 through the morning hours, and that means dry conditions Belle Isle on Sunday for the big race. So we're looking at those middle 70s all the way through next week. It does get a little more active weather-wise, Jason, through next week with scattered rain and thunder showers Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll keep an eye on it.
All right, happening right now, we are streaming a special discussion taking place at the Mackinac Policy Conference. Our Rhonda Walker is moderating a discussion on the future of women in the post-pandemic workplace. The panelists include Jeanette Abraham from JMA Logistics, Joy Harris from DTE Energy, and Nancy Tillum from Base Blue. You can watch it right now, right here on Local 4+. Thanks for being with us for a special edition of the Noon News here on Plus, and click on Detroit.com. We hope you join us again for Local 4 News at 4, 5, and 6. Have a great day.